I totaled my fiance's pride and joy this morning, and honestly, if you saw the look on his face, you'd think I'd committed a federal crime. But here's the thing about people like Mark. They think everything in this world comes with a price tag and a receipt. They don't realize that some things are actually priceless. And once they're gone, there isn't enough money in the world to bring them back. See, my grandmother wasn't the type to leave behind diamonds or designer handbags. She was a woman of the earth, a baker who showed her love through the weight of a sourdough starter and the flaky perfection of a pie crust. When she passed away last winter, she left me her cast iron skillet. Now to a guy like Mark, it was just a heavy, black, carbon-caked hunk of metal. But to me, that skillet was 80 years of history. It was seasoned to a jet black mirror finish by decades of Sunday dinners. It smelled like her kitchen on Thanksgiving. It was the only thing I had left that felt like home, the only thing that still carried the flavor of her life. I told Mark 1,000 times. Do not touch it, do not soak it, and for the love of God, do not put it in the dishwasher. He watched me clean it with salt and oil every single week. He knew it was my holy relic. Yesterday, I came home after a brutal 12-hour shift at the hospital. I walked into the kitchen expecting to see the skillet sitting on its usual burner, but the stove was empty. In its place was a shiny neon blue set of non-stick ceramic pans. I felt my stomach drop into my shoes. I asked Mark where my skillet was, and he didn't even look up from his laptop. He just casually mentioned that he'd done me a favor. He said he'd dropped the old rusty eyesore at a scrap metal drive on his way to the gym, because he wanted to modernize our kitchen. Then he had the nerve to tell me that I should be thanking him, because these new pans were actually dishwasher safe and looked better in our Instagram photos. The world went ice cold. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just felt a sharp mechanical click in my chest. I turned around, walked out the back door, and headed straight for the garage. That's where Mark keeps the beast, his 1967 customized Mustang. He's spent 3 years of weekends and $40,000 restoring that car. He polishes the chrome with a microfiber towel every Saturday, like he's performing a religious ceremony. I grabbed a heavy-duty screwdriver and a gallon of industrial-strength paint stripper from the workbench. I didn't just scratch the paint. I etched dishwasher safe into the hood in giant, jagged letters. I poured the stripper over the roof until the candy apple red finish began to bubble and peel away like dead skin. I shredded the imported Italian leather seats until they looked like they'd been through a wood chipper. I turned his masterpiece into a pile of scrap metal in under 6 minutes. When he finally heard the commotion and ran outside, he turned a shade of pale. I've never seen before he started screaming about malicious destruction and psychotic breaks. I just stood there perfectly still and handed him the receipt for those new ceramic pans. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "It's just a car, Mark." It was taking up space in the driveway, and it was starting to look a little vintage. You can always go to a dealership and buy a brand new one that's actually modern. He's calling me a monster and telling our friends I've lost my mind. But he didn't just toss a pan. He threw away 80 years of my family's soul because it didn't fit his aesthetic. He's moving out tomorrow. He can take his non-stick pans and his modern life with him. Because you can always replace a car, and you can definitely replace a fiancé, but you can never replace the seasoning of a life well lived.